So let's start with chapter 2 people, legal status and types of registered companies. So here we'll see about, before we get into the law, I felt first we will know what is company and then we will start what is company law. That's why in chapter 1 you have introduction to the law, company law. But chapter 2 says the status and types of companies and nature of company. So here you'll be seeing the characteristics of the company and all. So before I start, you tell me, what do you guys know about the company? What is a company according to you? What is the nature of company? What are the characteristics of company? It's an artificial person. Okay, what do you mean by artificial person? It does not have life. Okay. It is created by the law. Okay. What other characteristics of company you guys know? It is a separate legal entity. What do you mean by separate legal entity? It is different from the owners. Okay. And what else you know? What are other natures, characteristics? Perpetual succession. Okay. And what is perpetual succession? There is no end for the company. There is no, until unless they want to die. There is no death until unless there is a suicide. Correct? Until unless they want to die, they can die. I mean, they want to end. Okay. And what else is the nature of the company? What else? That's all. 3, 4. Anything else? It's a limited liability. What is limited liability? Only to the extent of the capital you are limited. Your liability is limited. Okay. And the company can enter into contracts with other parties in its own name. Okay. And it can sue and it can be sued. Okay. And it has a definite legal structure. Yes, sir. Okay. BCom answer. And what else? It has a common seal. Okay. What is this common seal? Common, sir. Common seal means what, sir? What is common seal? It's a signature. Then why is it not called common signature? Okay. But what is common seal? Signature of the company. So it is mandatory for a company to sign? Huh? Okay, tell me one thing. Is it mandatory for you, for a company to have a common seal? Company secretary. Sir, we can sign, sir. Banda. You only said, no, sir, we will change C. Okay. Company secretary can sign, sir. Why common seal and all? Okay, but tell me, is common seal mandatory? Is it mandatory? Is it mandatory to have a common seal? Is it mandatory? Yes. Is it mandatory? Yes or no? Yes. Mandatory, No, people, it's not mandatory to have a common seal. It's optional. There is a amendment that they made. Earlier it was every company shall have a common seal. Now the word in the law has been changed from shall to may. So today they say every company may have a common seal, meaning it is your choice. Yes, sir. Behind that there is a logic also. What is the logic? Earlier they said, why should there be a common seal? Because whenever a company enters into a contract, the company has to be represented by a common seal. That means that is the company's property. That's the logic behind it. Now they thought, whenever a company should affix its seal, does company has life? Company will only come and affix the seal. How will the company come and affix the seal? How will it affix? So someone should come and press it. Someone should come. Correct? Don't you think the hand that is pressing, instead of pressing, can that person sign? Anyways, I am only coming and pressing. Instead, I'll just come and sign. Aren't this both the same? Because common seal you will not keep it with some random person. It will be with designated people. Instead of that person, that is a designated person, he is a director or a company secretary. Instead of him coming and putting that seal, he can very well sign, that on behalf of the company, I am representing and I am signing the document. So today, if you want to save some 1,500 rupees, if you want, you can skip the common seal also. And how will it be replaced? It will be replaced by a signature. Yes, sir. Who, what and all we will see as we go by. Is clear of you? Okay. Any other characteristics? Any other characteristics of a company? Uh-huh. It is limited by shares. Okay. Okay. It can be limited by guarantee also. It can be unlimited also. Togoli, sir. You asked no. Huh? And company is a. You tell me, da. I'll tell you yes or no. He said answer and he only said no. How can it happen, da? You tell it to me, da. I will tell. No, attack ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ. Huh? Company is not a resident. Company. Company is a resident and not a citizen. Okay, yes, we will take that. We'll see. So you guys know more or less everything. So we can skip this chapter actually. Sir, oh, discount kotra? Huh? How can you skip, sir? Okay. So that's more or less, yes, the nature of the company. We'll see more in detail about the same characteristics you guys have heard. Let us try to maintain. In our class, we'll be writing down everything, people, in a very short and crisp way, so that whenever you want to quickly revise, you guys can revise from this particular notes you guys are writing it down. And remember, this is not sufficient for you to go to the exam directly, but it is easier for you to revise quickly day before the exam. But whenever you have time, that is after today's class, you should not go and read from the handwritten notes. You have to read from the PDF. That is a material I'll be sending. I hope they have sent it to you. Dear Prasada, you can take the call and come. Yeah. Yes, sir. Angi song decide ag bani. Yes, sir. Okay. What was you telling da? You'll have to go through. You got the material? I think it will be uploaded in the app. You guys can download it. Yes, sir. So I think you can take a printout of it from there. Yeah. Because of some security issues, they have stopped sharing it on WhatsApp and all. Yes. Okay. So let us start with the definition characteristics of legal. Okay. Let us start with the characteristics of a company. Write down nature and characteristics of a company. Nature and characteristics of company. Nature and characteristics of company. You can write one below the other. I'll just be writing it as a chart. I think you have more than 10 or 11 characteristics. You can write one below the other. Yeah. Okay. The first one, people, it's called as corporate personality. Corporate personality, or you can also call it as separate legal entity. Corporate personality or separate legal entity. Corporate personality or separate legal entity. What does it say? Nothing but company is different from its members. Company is different from its members. Company is different from its members. Case law. What case law? Which one? Salomon versus Salomon. Salomon versus Salomon. Salomon versus Salomon. Company is different from its members. Salomon versus Salomon. Clear? Company is different from its members. Salomon versus Salomon. Remember, people, whenever in a case law, when you see something called as, first of all, what do you mean by a case law? Case law means, people, in the past, there would have been some incident that would have taken place, and the parties would have fought with each other. So let us imagine there are two people, that is A versus B. They have fought with each other, and they go to the court, they file a case, and the case from the court's point of view, they will consider the parties as A versus B. That means two people have come to the court, they have filed a case on each other. Now, how will we know? Whenever a person goes to the court and files a case, the person who initiates the case is always called as a plaintiff. So, in a case law, whenever you write a first person's name, so in our case, you will write it as Salomon. So, Salomon is always the person who would have initiated the case. That's why you call it as plaintiff. The person who initiates the case is called as plaintiff. On whom the case is filed, he is called as a defendant. So the plaintiff is the person who files the case, defendant is the person on whom the case is filed. But in this case, what is this, sir? Salomon versus Salomon, Yenukulu Varuvan. You are filing a case on me only. Is it possible? Technically, it is actually called as Salomon versus Salomon Company Limited. That's the full case law. But popularly, it just became as Salomon versus Salomon. So technically, this is nothing but Salomon versus Salomon Company Limited. So, Salomon filed a case against a company called as Salomon Company Limited. Understood? Pakka. Now, imagine people, whenever you are watching a cricket match, so imagine there is one bowler bowls a ball, one LBW happens, the bowler appeals, the umpire says out. What does today's batsman immediately, what does he say, people? Hey umpire, nodakkagalva, can't you see? It is not out. He will go something like this. What do you mean by this? The review, What do you mean by review? Don't you think already, see, there are neutral parties. India versus Pakistan, there is a match happening. So, because you guys will fight, we have an independent person standing in the field, and that is the umpire. He gave his decision, called as out. But still you are unhappy. Why? You may see that the umpire have missed out some facts. May happen, but still he's done his job. Now on-field umpire has given it out, but the batsman says review. In the same way, people, whenever you file a case in the court, the judge may pass a decision. He might say, hey, whatever A did, that is right only, A won the case. So the judge may support A in this case. Possible? Yes, possible. But is B happy with the judgment? The answer is no. Now what can B do? B can go for a review. Sir, you gave a judgment. No, I am not happy with it. Relook into the case. Here in the cricket you call it as review. In the judgment you call it as an appeal. What do you mean by appeal? Whenever a lower court whenever a lower court gives a judgment and the parties are not okay with it, they can always go to the higher court and say, sir, I was not okay with the judgment passed by the lower court. Can you please reconsider the matter? And this process is called as an appeal. Now who is not happy with the decision? B. Now who goes to the higher court? B. The case law will become. Understood? Pakka. So you can never, it is not like a thumb rule that whenever you see A is only the person who filed the case. It can so happen that it might have gone for an appeal also. That case law you might be seeing. That is also possibilities there. Is clear? Pakka. So this is again basics of how to interpret the judgment or the case law. Is clear all of you? Yes. Now what would have happened? They would have fought. There would be some instance that has happened. Now that will stand as a reference going forward for all of us. So tomorrow you will know, for example, in World Cup, I don't know how many of you know that Angelo Matthews versus Bangladesh. What happened in that scenario? So there is a time for a batsman to come from the dugout and to take a stance. There is a time. I believe it's something 2 minutes. Yeah. So within 2 minutes, the batsman has to come and stand here. In the history of cricket, 100 years ago, we have not seen that scenario happening at all. But in this case, there was a batsman from Sri Lanka who was little late from coming from the dugout to the crease. He took some time. And he was not within 2 minutes. So the Bangladesh captain, he appealed. He said, sir, according to the rule, what he did is wrong. They considered the rule book and it was decided, yes, that there is a rule. What he did is wrong. And he was given out without even facing a ball. It became first time in the history of cricket. Now, going forward, don't you think all the batsmen will have the timer on? Will they repeat this mistake? No. Now, that decision will stand as a landmark judgment. That's a trick. What trick?
Batsman out, no. You will come slow, no, they will not count the timing. You will come up. Going out, you will go slow means they will not count the timing for the other batsman to come in.
Oh, like that you're saying. So you're saying once the old batsman, the previous batsman leaves, you have to come within 2 minutes. Correct?
When he out of the circle, no, then
That's what. So you're saying he will leave little slowly. I understand that you're trying to manage it. But the 2 minutes rule is always there. Now don't you think the next batsmen, now how many ever matches you play, you will always be conscious on it? That is what is the power of a case law. Case law stands as a landmark judgment. You know, someday this has happened. Tomorrow it can be the same in my case also. You will always be conscious. That's why whenever we read law, without cases, a law is incomplete. You will be seeing 50, 60, 70 case laws in your book. The reason is, you would have seen what does the rule say. And they will also give you a real life interpretation. In a real life scenario, this has also happened. They will give you one case law. So, you will see the rule also, you will see the real life case also. Here, so one such case is called as Salomon versus Salomon. What happened in Salomon versus Salomon, sir? I'll try to tell you in very simple language. Again, all these are very, very basics. Once we start actual company law, we will not come to this part at all. So just because it is there as a initial steps, we'll be seeing it. Yes, all of you? Okay. So what happened in Salomon versus Salomon? The first nature of a company, as you all rightly said, they are telling you separate legal entity. What do you mean by separate legal entity? That means the shareholders are different and the company is different. Now what do you mean by that? Let us imagine, sir, there is this company called as Arivu. The founder of Arivu is called as Arjun, sir. Now there is this TV, there is this monitor, all this is there. Now let us imagine there is a cricket match going on. Arjun sir thinks, I'll take this TV to my home today and I'll watch in a bigger TV and I'll bring it back tomorrow. Can Arjun sir do it? He is the founder of Arivu. Arivu is his only. Yeah? Now can Arjun sir take this TV to his home? Can he take it or not? Why? Remember, sir, you hold shares in a company, you are owner of a company, but that doesn't mean the property of the company becomes yours. The property of the company is always the property of the company. That does not become the shareholder's property. If that is the case, I can walk into Tata Motors, I can drive the car I want. Because I am also the owner of Tata Motors. Even I have some shares. I will also go and drive whichever car I want. Can I do it? Not possible. Just because you are a shareholder, that does not make you the owner of the assets of the company. The assets are always in the company's name. You will not get a hold of the assets. For a company, even the shareholder is an outsider only. That is only the called as principle of separate legal entity. Company is different. Shareholders are different. You guys are not one and the same. Just because this TV belongs to the company, shareholder cannot change. That means it is mine. No. You are different. Company is different. Pakka na? Sure? 100%? Okay, I'll ask you a question, but answer we'll see little while later. All of you understood separate legal entity concept? Now my question is, you all have heard of a person called as Vijay Mallya? Somewhere here and there at least, you know Vijay Mallya? Yes, sir. Vijay Mallya is sir. Our childhood only is incomplete. You know Vijay Mallya. Okay. Why do you guys know Vijay Mallya for? How do you know him? Kingfisher, sir. You're blushing and saying Kingfisher. Yeah? But why did he become popular? Scam. What scam did he do? He took loan. Who took loan actually? Did Kingfisher take loan or Vijay Mallya took loan? Kingfisher took loan, huh? Okay, UB Group took loan, huh? Kingfisher took loan. Okay, I'll help you. Kingfisher took loan. Who took loan? Kingfisher took loan. Who should repay? Kingfisher should repay. And why are you guys behind Vijay Mallya? Who took loan? Kingfisher. And whom are you asking the loan to be repaid from? Ben, ಇದು separate anta something you guys just said. TV sir, Arjun sir, alla illa sir. Corporate veil means lifting of corporate veil, sir. Huh? So remember, as long as you guys are doing the business legally, ethically, everything right, there is always this separate legal entity. But if at all you are doing anything illegal, law will come and say, oh, that is not different, this is not different. For whatever he did, you are liable. So Kingfisher did not carry on its operations legally. They did not do ethical business. They did some illegal things. That's why they said, for whatever the company did, you as a shareholder, you are liable. That's why we are behind Vijay Mallya. Few people will have this question. Then why are we behind Vijay Mallya? This is the logic. Understood? And that only is called as lifting of corporate veil. So generally there is always separate legal entity. Lifting of separate legal entity. Meaning in this case, in the case whenever it is fraud, illegal scenarios, that separate legal entity concept will no longer exist. Understood? Pakka na? 100%? Okay. Now what happened in this case law called Salomon versus Salomon? What happened? In the case of Salomon versus Salomon, there was one person people called as Aaron Salomon. He was a shoe merchant. Again a very old case law. His complete name is called as Aaron Salomon. He was a sole proprietor. He was a shoe merchant. He was carrying on his business peacefully. It was a really growing business until he got married and he had children. What happened after that, sir? The children came to Salomon and said, Papa, please take me also into your business. So they asked the children also to be included into this business. That is what they asked for. Now Salomon went to one of the company secretaries in town and he said, hey, my children also wants to join my business, it seems. Can you please help me to take them also into my business? So you were their company secretaries, you said, no sir, it is not possible because you are a sole proprietor. In a sole proprietor form of business, there can only be one owner. That's what is the meaning of sole. There is only one. So you cannot take more people into the business, it is not possible. So now Aaron Salomon said, sir, now then what to do? Don't I have an option to take my children inside? They said, you are the CS. You said, hey sir, we have a way for everything sir, you don't worry. Let us do one thing, let us start one company. And let us take all your family into this company as shareholders. Salomon said, okay, first we will start off a company. So Salomon became the first shareholder, wife became the second shareholder, and Salomon had 5 children. And 5 children became the rest of the shareholders. In total, 7 shareholders came together and they started one company. Clear? Now company started. What will the company do? What will the company do? Shoe. But shoe is in the name of sole proprietor. No. Now again the sole proprietor, that is the Salomon, went back to the CS. Sir, company is formed. Now what to do? Sir, now let us do one thing. Legally let us transfer the entire business into the name of the company. So there was a proper transfer of all the name or trademark or assets into the name of the company. There was a legal transfer. Sir, in return, you always know, I think you guys have seen something called as Indian Contract Act somewhere. Something you guys would have heard of, mutual consideration, quid pro quo. Heard of it, give and take. Okay, in contract, if a contract has to be valid, it should always be give and take. That is, there should always be something coming in, also going out. If it's only one way, a contract can never be valid. That's why they said, let us put some purchase consideration. Meaning some money should be given to, for transferring. Okay, and what was the purchase consideration? Purchase consideration, people, was around 38,000 pounds. Yes, sir. 38,000 pounds. How did they decide, people? In this 38,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds worth shares were issued. Meaning, today I will not give you money, I will give you the shares of the company. So, for Salomon, 20,000 shares were issued in the new company. Okay. And 10,000 people secured debentures was issued. 10,000 secured debentures was issued. What do you mean by secured debentures? First of all, what do you mean by debentures? Debt. It's an obligation of the company which they have to repay someday. Correct? That is the meaning of debenture. Debenture means nothing but a loan. What do you mean by secured debenture? So there is always an asset. Meaning, if at all I do not repay the loan, you will have a right to take away any asset of the company. Just like banks do today. Whenever you take a loan, they will give you loan on the property, right? If you do not give the loan back, they will come and take off the property. In the same way, they gave a secured debenture to the Salomon, and the value worth was 10,000. You come and give this debenture whenever you want, we will repay this 10,000 to you. Okay, and the rest of the 8,000 people was settled in cash. Rest of the 8,000 was settled in cash. And with this, they transferred the entire business to the name of the company, and the company started functioning. So company began as business, it went to its high, and they could not sustain because of some reasons. They started seeing decline in the sales. The company was almost about to fail. The company went to banks, the company went to some creditors, they took some loans, they tried to lift the company, but it was temporary. The company finally reached the stage of liquidation. That is, the company could not survive. The company finally reached the stage of winding up. On the last day of winding up, people, the company's the company's balance sheet was like this. They had assets, people, worth 6,000 pounds. They had liabilities worth 16,000 pounds. They had assets worth 6,000 pounds. They had liabilities worth 16,000 pounds. Is clear? 6,000, 16,000. Now, how did the 16,000 come into picture, sir? 16,000 came into picture because, one, we had to repay Salomon's debenture, 10,000, that is always there. We have to still repay that. And we have gone to bank here. We have taken some loans, that is there. So, sir, overall there has been 16,000 liabilities on the company as on last day. But the assets that are left as people, only 6,000. Now there is a fight. Who should take this 6,000? The company has only 6,000 left. Who will take this 6,000? Will Salomon take this 6,000? Or will the bank take the 6,000? Whatever is left. Who will take the 6,000? You tell. Who will take the 6,000? Bank or Salomon? Obviously bank only. Because it is the outsider. Outsider's liability will be paid first. Why not Salomon's liability? Salomon only is the owner of the company, sir. So technically it is Salomon only. Correct? Yes, sir. Yes, people. As you guys rightly said, Salomon will take the assets, people. You guys are bang on right, people. Who will take the assets, sir? Salomon will take the assets, sir. Not the bank. Understood? Sir, understood? We said bank, sir. Salomon will take the assets because what is the Purana we saw? What did I say? Remember, people, once the company is incorporated, once the company is registered, even if you are a shareholder, even if you are a creditor, from the company's point of view, you are an outsider only. Both of you are different. Just because you are the shareholder of a company, you will not become the company itself. We saw in the case of that Arjun Sir TV, we said that the company's property will not become the shareholder's property. Yes or no? Agreed, Sir, then if that is the case, then you should give it to bank, no sir? Why are you giving it to Salomon then? The reason is Salomon was clever. Why? Salomon took debentures. But specifically, there was one word attached to debentures. What was the word? Secured. What do you mean by that? Whenever we go to a date where you don't have money, the priority will be given to me when compared to others. That's the meaning of the word secured. Right? Yes, Now because of that, when compared to Bank and Salomon, both of them has a right to get back the money. Because Salomon had got secured debentures, Salomon debts was repaid first. Not because he's an insider or not because he's an outsider. From the company's point of view, both of you are outsiders only. But because you had secured debentures, Salomon's money was repaid first. It's clear all of you? 100% Pakkana. So in this case, they came up with a concept called as Salomon versus Salomon, that is separate legal entity. Clear all of you?
So you said Salomon's money was given. What is the case name was Salomon versus Salomon? Bank versus Salomon has to be in the case.
So what we saw was finally who took the money. But what initially they fought was the banker should get the money. That's why Salomon filed the case. Clear? Yes, Understood all of you? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? Sure, Pakkana, 100%. Okay. So that is this corporate personality or separate legal entity. Okay. And remember, whenever a company is formed for fraudulent or improper purpose, the separate legal entity concept will fade away. There will be something called as lifting of corporate veil, and whoever is the fraudulent person, he will be held liable. Is clear all of you? Okay. So case law is there in your book. I am not writing again the case law, but write down, note, in some scenarios, the corporate veil means mask, cloth. Veil means mask or cloth, whatever you call it. In some scenarios, the corporate veil will be lifted and the separate legal entity concept shall fade away. We'll be seeing what are those scenarios. That will be our next topic. We'll see that. That are the scenarios. One example is fraudulent purpose. You can just write down example Kingfisher Airlines. Example Kingfisher Airlines. If you want to be more precise there, you can write down Vijay Walia was made to repay the debt of the Kingfisher Airlines. Correct? Who repaid? Whom did we tell to repay the loan? Vijay Mallya. So separate legal entity means if company takes the loan, company should only repay. But in some scenarios, they will say there is no separate legal entity concept. For whatever the company did, the shareholder has to suffer. So that is one of the concept is Kingfisher Vijay Mallya's case. But what is that lifting of corporate veil? We'll do that is our next topic.
Another doubt, but it's not subject related. It's about companies. Vijay Mallya, no, sir, is in UK, right? India has extradition treaty, right? Why they
Extradition treaty will be there provided, see, it is not like I directly send a person who comes to me. In that way, we have an extradition treaty with many countries also. Technically, you just know one person called Vijay Mallya. There are more people to that list. There is one more person called as Nirav Modi. There is one more person called as Lalit Modi. So all of them are in UK only. But according to the process, what happened in one of the case, in the court only, the court has held that the prisons in India are not well equipped to handle people like Vijay Mallya. See, whatever he did might be fraud. whatever he did might be wrong, but what he did is end of the day something to do with money. Now, when you go to a country like UK, now Vijay Mallya has taken, now he is a rich man, now Nirav Modi is a rich man. Now whenever these people go to those countries, they go with billions of dollars. And why will that country send that person back to the country? It's not like that. It's nothing to do with the money. That's why to satisfy our ego, there will be court hearings that is happening in UK. So directly in our movies they show no people. Singham, you guys have seen Singham, huh? Surya will go from India to some other country and he will carry on some undercover operations and all. He will go shoot there and all. We have seen that, no? Remember, in reality, all that can't happen. In reality, your bullet cannot be shot once you cross India. You have your license only in India. All that is only in movies only. So, whenever a person who belongs to our country, we want him back, there is a legal way you need to follow. You need to write a request to the foreign country. So, we have written a request to UK saying that, sir, please conduct hearings on this person. That's why you can see Vijay Mallya attending court hearings in UK. So, because he is not in India, he is in UK, he is attending the court trials in UK. The UK court is corresponding, they are trying to bridge between us and Vijay Mallya. So once the court deciding, that is they come up with the trial, they come up with decisions that will be forwarded to our country. So that is how it happens. But yes, in books we have something called as asylum or extradition and all.
Still we have trades in India, no, sir. Now recently SEBI has banned it for illegally trading UV goods.
No, not like that. Long back, SEBI has already taken hold of all these assets. For example, UB Holdings is already under the control of government. You can see the UB City, the building. The building is also under the control of government now. The banks have already taken it over. So most of his assets they have taken it over, but he is not a poor man also. We want all the rest of the money also to be repaid. They are trying for it, but not happening. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, what is separate legal entity? Lifting of corporate, we'll see a little while later. Is clear all of you? Okay, that is the second nature. It's a artificial person. It's a artificial person. What do you mean by artificial person? He can, the company can enter into contracts. It can hold properties, and as you guys rightly said, it can sue and be sued. Sue means you can file a case and someone else also can file a case on you. So on a company you can file a case, company can also file a case on you. So whenever you have a problem with Amazon, you guys will not go behind the founder of Amazon, right? So whenever you have a problem with Zomato, if your food is not delivered, will you guys go and file a case on Deepinder Goyal? Yaar sir, no? Who is Deepinder Goyal? Founder of Zomato. So you will not go and file a case on the founder, right? You will file on Zomato only. In the same way, if you guys do not make a payment on time or if there is any problem, the Zomato also will file a case on you. So once the company is registered, they enjoy that separate property. Companies identified as a different person. Whatever it wants to do, it will do in its own name. They will not hide behind a member. It will do in its own name. That's what they're telling you. It can own properties in its own name. The TV, the bill is in the name of Arivu. So that's what I'm saying. It can hold properties in its own name. Rental agreement is in the name of Arivu, not in the name of the founder. So it can hold properties, you can enter into contracts, you can file a case, and even the others also can file a case on the company. Clear? Yes, sir? Okay. Third one. artificial person in, okay, write down one case here, interesting case. Union Bank of India versus Kader International Constructions. International Constructions. Union Bank of India versus Kader International Construction. Sir, in reports, they have mentioned that Malia has repaid the loan, but still he will be held in prison if he returns back to India. Yes, there is a lot of components for that. One is he has not repaid the complete loan. He has not repaid the interest also in some places. So he is also called as an economic offender, meaning a person who has to repay and who has left the country. So there are many cases filed against him. So yes, even if he comes back, he'll be put in jail. Yes, sir. Okay. Union Bank of India versus Kader International Construction. Okay, what is this artificial person, sir? Now, according to the law of this country, people, there is one act called as Civil Procedure Code, CPC. We generally call it as, but everything is being revamped now. But yes, there is something called as CPC, Civil Procedure Code. Old law it was. Now, according to this law, in India, everyone has a legal right. What is legal right, people? Whether you have money, you don't have money. It is your right for your case to be argued in the court. Now imagine, people, I am a poor person. I don't have money. I do not have any money to appoint a lawyer. But someone, or I want to file a case against some other person. I don't have money. Now in this case, can I do something? Can I get some help? Will the law of this country help me to get a lawyer and present my case in the court? Do we have that opportunities in this country? Yes, sir. It is there, huh? Legal ideas. Do we have it, huh? Remember, people, you know Ajmal Kasab? Kasab, you guys know? No? Mumbai attack? Taj attack? There was one terrorist. You guys know him? You know him, huh? How da? Friend. Mutual friend, huh? Okay. Correct. So remember, so
He came by ship to Goa, sir.
same ship, huh?
No, sir, he is from coastal area of Goa. So
Okay.
he came by ship.
Okay. So you saw something like that. No. Okay. So remember, when Ajmal Kasab came to India, he was a terrorist. There were n number of evidences in this case. There were CCTV footages, there were live witnesses. Ajmal Kasab used AK-47. Just for you guys to know how AK-47 will be, if you just shoot this wall, if the wall is up to 1.5 feet, the bullet can penetrate the wall. 1.5 feet. And he has used that rifle to shoot people. You can imagine how brutal it will be. And these incidences are captured on CCTV footages. Everywhere. Absolutely, you know that he is a culprit. But because there is a legal procedure that a country has to follow, they have filed a case on Ajmal Kasab. They captured him. They took him into the custody. And they have to conduct a trial. Meaning, you have to call him to the court. You have to conduct a trial. And Ajmal Kasab is a terrorist against whom a case is filed. But because you come from this land, he was given a lawyer. We appointed him. He did not appoint. How will he appoint? Or who will appoint on behalf of him? The country appointed a lawyer on behalf of him. That's the country you come from. Sir, are you telling good or bad? I don't know, it is left to you. How you take it. Yes, sir. So he was represented by a lawyer. He said, Mannit Chudinge, I'm sorry. Some mistake happened. I was playing Diwali. Some 20-30 people died. Yeah. So he gave his plea, but yes, finally, after some 3 years, there was a death penalty that was imposed, and he was finally hung by the court. Yes, sir. But I'm telling you, a legal representation is your right when you're in India. Sir, what if I don't have money? What if you don't have money? There is an application you can file. That application is called as pauper application. It is also called as indigent application. I think you would have played in carom. Pauper. What is pauper? That means nothing but bankrupt. You don't have money. You can file an application saying that I don't have money. Can I get some legal aid? The court will help you. The government will help you. They will appoint you a lawyer. Yes, sir. Now problem was, as a person you have this right. We all now know. Correct? But one day what happened? The company did not have money. The company became a bankrupt. But the company wanted to fight a case. So the company filed an application in the court saying we are paupers. The company does not have money, but we want a lawyer. We want to fight this case. Can you please help us? Now the question was, can the company be considered as a indigent person or a pauper application? Can you consider company as a valid person for this application? Is it possible? Possible or no? Can a company be considered as pauper application? Is it possible according to this land? You never know, sir. Nam land everything will happen now. Possible or not possible? Possible or not possible? Think and answer. Will it be given to a natural person or artificial person? Obviously, remember, such things has to be given to a natural person. Yes, people, company can file a pauper application. It is possible. The public prosecutor will be appointed by the court, yes. But why? Why did we even allow the company to file a pauper application? Because if you refer CPC uses the word called as a person can be considered as an indigent person. Now the person according to the law can be two people. We have to clearly say whether you are an individual or you are a person. I believe once you guys see your tax, you guys will get the clear difference between an individual and a person. Person includes a lot of people in it. So the person includes a natural person as well as artificial person. Now what is the characteristic you are seeing? Artificial person only, no? So because of that person written in CPC, company can also seek for pauper application. Clear? Hello? Sure? Okay, right on. Union Bank of India versus Kadar International Constructions. In this, nothing but you can just write. Can a company be considered as indigent person? Can a company be considered as indigent person? That's always like that only. You guys would be seeing recently also, no, this Darshan's case and all. The police have almost gathered around 207 evidences against Darshan. I mean, in that entire case, 207 evidences are there. But yes, you know how our system works and all. But good that it is going. We are not against any person. We are not in favor of any person. If it has happened, it has happened. But yes, there is always a course. You need to consider everything. Yeah? Okay. Can a company be considered as indigent person? Can you? Is it possible? That indigent person is also called as pauper application. Write down that. Pauper application. Is it possible? The answer is yes. How? Referring to Civil Procedure Code. referring to Civil Procedure Code 1908. Clear? Understood? Sure? Okay, next one is okay, right on the third, copied Civil Procedure Code, CPC. Copied? Okay, right on the third one. Company has nationality. Company has nationality and residence. The company's registered office shall be the domicile of the company. Shall be considered as the domicile of the company. Company has nationality and residence. The company's registered office shall be the domicile of the company. Domicile is nothing but your permanent residence, where you stay. So for a company, do you have residence? The answer is yes. Wherever your registered office is, that is where you are considered as a resident of that particular place. Clear? Yes, sir. For example, if you look at a company called as, imagine, Infosys. Infosys has been established in so many places, right? You know Infosys in many states. Yes or no? Infosys there in Bangalore, Infosys there in Mysore, Bangalore, Pune, they are there in Hyderabad, Chennai, they are in so many places. Now, what is considered as registered office for Infosys? How will we know? Remember? Yes. So basically, where your place of incorporation, that is, whenever you were registered, which was the place you were registered? Initially, Infosys was registered. If you look at the records of government, Infosys is based out of whatever you see in Electronic City. There is a place in Bangalore called as Electronic City. Now that place is considered as Infosys registered office. Why? Because in the records, Infosys has filed that place as its registered office. Technically, it's nothing but the place of your incorporation. Wherever you got registered first, that first thing will be there. No, that is considered as your principal office or registered office. The rest of things are always called as branches. This is always a registered office. Why is it so important? What is the significance of registered office? The significance is that if you guys have any problem on Infosys, if you guys have any problem, if you want to file a case on Infosys, the jurisdiction will be the Bangalore jurisdiction. Meaning, if you want to file a case on Infosys, it will come under the Bangalore jurisdiction. You might be a shareholder who is staying in, say for example, in Pune. If you have a problem on Infosys, you have to file it in the Bangalore jurisdiction. That's the significance of registered office. Is clear? Pakana? 100%? Okay. Domicile is nothing but permanent residence. Where you have a permanent residence. Whenever you guys are filling forms, you will be seeing it. Something called as domicile. It's called as permanent residence. Online now? Online now. Understanding it? Okay. Yes, sir. Company law is easy. Company law is very easy. Goalie only. Okay. Right on. Fourth one. Company is not a citizen. Company is not a citizen. Company is not a citizen. What do you mean by that? Fundamental rights are not applicable to the company. Fundamental rights are not applicable to the company. Correct? Huh? So company cannot be considered as a citizen. Company has residency, company has nationality, but company does not have citizenship. That is not there. So you know, as a law of the land, you have so many fundamental rights. Those fundamental rights cannot be enjoyed by a company. However, this rule has one exception. What is that exception, sir? Write down that exception. However, if any act directly affects the right if any act directly affects the right of shareholder, is this visible or it's too thin? Visible? This one is visible? No? Okay. However, if any act directly affects the right of shareholder, then fundamental rights shall be applicable in such capacity. Case law, there is one case law, that case law is called as RC Cooper versus Union of India. However, if any act directly affects the right of shareholder, then fundamental rights shall be applicable in such capacity. RC Cooper versus Union of India. Case law is not there for us in detail, but just to understand what is this point, almost in 19th century, after independence, there was a time where this bank nationalization was happening. Meaning, until then the banks were all privatized, but there was a bill that was passed that the government will start taking over the ownership over certain banks. Now what happened, there was one person called as RC Cooper. He was a shareholder of one such bank. So whenever a bank nationalization happens, what do you mean by that? Your shares will be taken over by the government and some money will be paid to you. Now RC Cooper, when the bank nationalization happened, the government started taking over his shares and they gave him some compensation, but RC Cooper was not happy with it. Why? Because other banks' shares were also being taken over, but they were getting a little more compensation or share value when compared to what he is getting. But there were no proper grounds for that. So what did he say? What the government doing is unfair. Because according to the law, we have one fundamental right. That fundamental right is called as right to equality. What do you mean by equality? You have to treat all of us same. You are paying him more, you are paying me less. Why? Now in this case they said, hey, how can you come and file a case? A company will never enjoy a fundamental right at all. But in this case, RC Cooper said, if fundamental right is not given in this case, company is not affected, but I am getting affected because compensation is being received by me. So, in this case, they gave a judgment. What is that? A company can never be considered as a citizen. A company will never enjoy citizenship status. However, as a shareholder, if your rights are getting affected, if your fundamental rights as a shareholder is being affected, in that capacity, you can file a case, you can approach the court. In this case, he was allowed to file a case on the condition of right to equality, which is actually a fundamental right. So they said this is an exception. So what is that note? A company will never be considered as citizen, but if at all the shareholders' rights are getting affected, the shareholders can approach the court in that capacity. It is allowed. That is what is this case law. Any doubts here? Pakkana. Popularly it is also called as bank nationalization case. For us it's not there, so do not worry. Is clear all of you? Yes? Okay, right on the next one. You wrote 4. Right on the fifth one. Limited liability. Limited liability, comparatively this point is important, so remember, you can expect a question here. Second point, can you show the second one? Which is the second one? This one? Yes? Kavida, now fifth one, limited liability. Limited liability means what, people? Your liability is limited, meaning whenever there is a loss, your liability will always be limited. For example, you guys know a company called as Videocon. I would have told about Videocon. Heard of it? Is Videocon seen today? Where did Videocon go all of a sudden? Videocon, where are they? Okay, so Videocon is actually undergoing bankruptcy. Videocon is unable to pay its debts. There are huge debts that the Videocon company has to pay, and the value of debts is also, people, skyrocket. How much? Any guess? How much is the value of Videocon's debts? Your budget are the 5 lakh crores. It's around, people, 72,000 crores. Yeah, but I'll ask you the question, who are the founders of Videocon? You know Vijay Mallya. For how much Vijay Mallya has to pay? After all, the 9C, he knows everything. 5,500 crore was the principal, and added to that was the interest. The total amount we were trying to recover from Vijay Mallya was 9,000 crore. You know 9,000 crore founder. You do not know 72,000 crore debt to people. Why? Q? You unfair racist society? Huh? You don't want this person? Anything happens, you will make a movie on Vijay Mallya, Papa? Papa Noda? The reason is Vijay Mallya did a fraud. That's why we are trying to recover the money. This is a genuine business loss. They tried, it did not work. It's a failure. Now, are we telling the founders have mast money? Mast money irko. Lot of money. They have money. We are not even asking 1 rupee from them because company took it, company has to pay. Now we will ask the founders, why did you guys use the money for? We used it for genuine business purpose. Did you do any cheating? No. Oh no, then you go home. We will not touch your assets. That's the beauty of limited liability. 72,000 crores are shielded with the company. Company has money, it will pay. Company doesn't have money, your personal assets will not be affected. That's the difference between company and partnership. Partnership, your last rupee will also be taken. Unlimited liability. Clear? Pakka na? Okay, so generally remember, the general rule is that people limited liability. A company's liability will always be limited. However, this rule has certain exceptions. What are the exceptions? In some cases, the liability may become unlimited also. When is that? That is what is the exceptions we are writing. Write down. Important from exam point of view. The first exception, when number of members are reduced when number of members are reduced below the minimum requirement for more than 6 months, for more than 6 months, the remaining members cognizant of the fact shall be personally and unlimitedly liable for that period. So, what is the first one, sir? This is also called section 3A. Important, remember, only this one. Section 3A. Okay, in a company, minimum how many shareholders has to be there? In a company, what is the minimum number of shareholders required? 2? 1 only, no, sir? Correct. 1-person company minimum? Okay, there are 3 types of companies. One is called OPC. 1-person company, if you guys have heard of it, we'll be seeing it also, but yes, OPC. Next one is called as private company, public company. Okay, tell me, in OPC, what is the minimum number of shareholders? 1. Maximum? Maximum in OPC? 1 only. Okay, we'll see. Private company, what is the minimum number of members? 2. More than 2 or 2? Minimum is 2. Maximum? 200. 50. Maximum number of members in private company. How much? 200? 200. Maximum members. 200? How much? 200 only. Someone said 50? Company rule says 50? That is partnership. Ili sir. Yeno naditade. Samasya ide. Yes people? 200? Yes, okay. Maximum number of partners in private companies, maximum number of members is 200. Public company, what is the minimum members? 1, 2, 7, correct, sir. Hey, OPC is 1, private is 2. How much would be public? 1, 2. How much is public? How much is public company? How much? 7 it's actually, sir, but you are forcing me to tell me. Okay, for a public company, minimum number of members is 7. And what is the maximum number of members? Unlimited. Now, what does the law say? This minimum number you have to maintain always at any given point of time. What if this minimum number goes below that? Meaning, in a public company, the minimum number of shareholders should always be 7. It cannot go below that. What if, because of some reason, the number goes below 7? What do you mean by some reason, sir? There were 7 shareholders. The 6th and 7th shareholders, they did a trade amongst themselves only. The 7th person sold all his shares to the 6th person. Can't it happen? Can it happen or not? It can happen. So 6th person purchased all the 7th person's shares. Possible, Yes, sir. Now what happened, sir? Now the 6th person knows that in our company, as on today, there are only 6 shareholders. Agreed? 6th person knows that because he has only purchased it. Does 1 to 5 shareholders, do they know about this fact? May or may not be. Let us assume that they do not know. Agreed? Let us assume so that you will understand this concept. So in this case, what has happened? The 6th shareholder has purchased all the shares of the 7th shareholder. Now technically the 6th shareholder is aware that in our company there are only 6 shareholders as on today's date. 1 to 5 they do not know. 6th one he knows. The law says, I will give you 6 months a time. I give you 6 months a time. In this 6 months, go and search a new shareholder. Increase the limit to 7. So your minimum should always be 7 at any given point of time. If it goes below that, you will be given 6 months time to increase the number. What if I do not increase? The law says, after that 6 months, whoever is aware of the fact that we are working with less than the minimum requirement, such a person will be personally and unlimitedly liable for all the contracts that the company enters after that 6 months. Hello? Something and all I said. What was that, sir? As you said, sir, something and all you said we don't know. So remember 3 things. You need to increase a number within 6 months. If I don't, whatever are the contracts that the company will enter after the 6 months. Imagine the Videocon, that 72,000 crores are there. You would have taken some loans and all. So imagine that 6 months you have taken some loans. That I will not come to you. But after 6 months if you still take loan, that loan I will come to the 5th person who is aware of the fact you are working with less than the minimum number and you are still working with the less than minimum number. I will come and ask you to repay the loan personally and you will be liable unlimitedly. Your personal assets also will be taken away. But what about 1 to 5? They do not know. Meaning? Possible, no? I mean, what if they did not meet? What if one shareholder is outside India? What if one shareholder is just a sleeping partner? Can happen? I have just invested money. I don't know. I am not least bothered on what is happening in the company. Can happen, huh? Maybe scenario might be there. Yes. Is clear, huh? Sir, what if everyone says that we did not know? It is left to you how you prove. Yes, sir. Sir, what if they were aware and they still say that they were not aware? It is left to you on how you prove. Clear, huh? So it is left to you people. As I always said, you guys have watched Drishyam, huh? Drishyam. In all the languages, respective languages. Story to same hai. Correct, huh? What has happened? Did the girl's family kill the boy, huh? In Drishyam movie? Did the girl's family, did they kill that boy, huh? In Drishyam 1, huh? Did they kill or not, huh? Father killed, huh? Mother killed, noda? Movie no nodalla sarige. Huh? Who killed? Father or mother? Mother noda? Yes or noda? Yes or no? But what did court say? Court said that the girl's family did not kill the boy. They proved with evidence. So remember, in court, evidences win. That's what the hero will do. In the first part also, in the second part also. What is hero doing? Creating the evidences, no? In courts, evidences win, not the truth. Those days are gone. The days are gone where the truth has to prevail and all. Nothing, zero only. Evidences will win. Is clear? Sure? Pakka na? Understood this one? When the liability will become unlimited? Yes? Okay, right on.
For example, like after 6 months, like the minimum criteria was not met, but like after like couple of months, 7 members were there, like one more shareholder joined. So will he still be unlimitedly liable or he is limitedly liable?
So, the law says, as long as the contracts are entered after that 6 months, the shareholder will be liable unlimitedly for that period. For that period. What do you mean by that? So until that minimum number is met. So if you say from 6 to 8 months, if at all you have done contracts, For those 2 months, you will be liable. After the 2 months, you have met the requirement, so you will not be liable.
Okay, like for example, in that 2 months, they got a loan and it is not repaid. Limitedly liable.
Unlimitedly liable. That 2 months, 6 to 8 months, you are unlimitedly liable. That is that period. After that, you have made it good, right? Now you are complying with the law. Now why should you be unlimitedly liable? When there is a default, you are unlimitedly liable. When it is made good, you are not unlimitedly liable.
Asking for that 2 months, they got a loan of like say 2 crores. And like after
Your friend is like, hey, ஆமாடி அதுதான் நான் சொல்லிருக்கேன். Yes.
so after like 2 months, they met the minimum criteria, and like after 1 year, they fail to repay.
Hmm.
Is it still be unlimited?
We'll ask your friend. What do you think?
Yeah, they'll be unlimited only for the 2 periods they have entered in the
Perfect.
limitedly liable. Only the 60% will be unlimitedly liable.
Yo, more perfect. 4 marks. Yes. So the person who is aware of the fact during that period, it can be even after 1 year also. You're repaying after 1 year, but the contract was entered in that 2 months, no? So for that you are liable. Clear? Yes, sir. Okay, on second one. In the case of unlimited company, in the case of unlimited company, there are different types of companies. One of the companies called as unlimited liability company only. So it is left to your choice. If you want, you can choose limited liability. If you want, you can choose unlimited liability also. That option is given to you by the lawmakers. If you choose it, it is called as unlimited liability. One of the examples I can give you is until 2013, there was a company called as GSK. Heard of it? GlaxoSmithKline. 2013 they converted to a limited liability company. But what is GlaxoSmithKline? You are all the products of Glassmore, and you will be that's all. See, you are either the product of that or this, either Boost or Horlicks, correct? It is under the GlaxoSmithKline only. The company is called as GSK. Next time when you are drinking Boost or Horlicks, take the dabba and see on the top, there will be one triangle. It will be like this. And they would have mentioned something like this. GSK. Sensodyne also, yes. No, that I don't know. Senetrum, they have multiple products. Sensodyne is also GSK only, yes. So Horlicks is also GSK only. Understood? So they were unlimited liability company until 2013. Later on they converted to a limited liability. Can we convert like that, sir? Yes, sir, possible. Clear all of you? Yes? Okay. So one is unlimited liability company. In that case, your liability will be unlimited and not limited. Yes? Okay. Third one, a company incorporated by giving incorrect information. Simple, You registered a company by giving wrong details. Fraud. ID cards and all are fake. So if at all they get to know, your liability will become unlimited. So that's what is called as third point. A company incorporated. Incorporated means registered. Hey, here one more thing. Cognizant means people, if you want to write it in a simple language, aware. Whoever is aware of the fact. That is the meaning of cognizant. Isam. The difference between the person who would have scored exemption and the person who would have scored 40 will be these words. Yeah, sir, if I just write cognizant sufficient, no, I am saying that words will have an impact. Try to remember it as it is. Or else I can write it as aware only, no? For people who are thinking, sir, why write complicated word and then write meaning?
But sir, even if you write aware and write a section, that also will get marks.
I will not say. See, for a section, if you write a section, you will always have an advantage, 100%. But what I would say, try to remember as much as possible, but there will come a scenario where you feel the number of sections are going way too high than what we can remember. So that day will also come, but try to remember, try to make it a habit from day one. Remembering sections is important. Clear all of you? Yes. So a company incorporated by giving incorrect information. Fourth one, if the business is carried on, if the business is carried on for fraudulent purpose, if the business is carried on for fraudulent purpose, simple, huh? Best example is Vijay Mallya, fraudulent purpose. Fifth one, prospectus issued with intent to defraud applicants. In such case, director or promoter or authorized person or expert shall be personally liable. Clear? Clear? Copy down. Okay. Sixth one. Company fails to repay the deposits or interest with fraudulent intention received under section 74. Every officer in default shall be personally liable. Company fails to repay the deposits or interest with fraudulent intention received under section 74. Every officer in default shall be personally liable. Ink is overflowing, I don't know why. This is either too small. The fonts are becoming a little thick. I don't know if I'm correct or no. Under section 74. Copy down. Right on the last point. G. We are writing alphabets, number. Okay. Report made by. Okay, it's very. Report made by inspector that fraud has been done by director, fraud has been done by director or KMP or officer and taken undue advantage in form of cash or property, disgorgement order will be passed. Disgorgement order will be passed. Kubada. Done now? So these are the grounds. We'll see this explanation and go for a break. Now what is this, sir? Unlimited liability. Generally it's a limited liability company, but there are some scenarios where the liability of the members or the people will be considered unlimited. We saw two things. One is members reduced below the minimum requirement, and second one was the company itself is registered as unlimited company. We saw example of GSK also. And the third one is people, when a company is given incorrect information, fake information, and if you have registered a company, whoever has given such fake information, again they will be considered as unlimitedly liable. Then there will be no limited liability. Fourth one, if at all there is any fraudulent activities that has taken place, again there will be unlimited liability. Fifth one, prospectus issued with intent to defraud applications. This part we'll be doing in a different chapter, in prospectus and allotment of securities. So we'll be doing it in share and share capital concepts also we'll touch. Okay, we'll be doing about this prospectus and all in this fourth chapter. There I'll tell you in detail what is this prospectus and all that part. Yeah, it's a big section. In fact, we'll be going in detail there. When I'm explaining it there, make sure you try to understand what is written here as well. Yes. Okay. Next one, company fails to repay the deposits. Again, deposits. You have one chapter with regards to deposits only. You'll be seeing it again here in chapter 6, deposits. What is deposits, why and all, there is one big concept only, we'll be seeing in detail. Yes, minimum 4 or 6 hours discussion it will be. So, for me to just explain of deposits like this, it won't happen. It is a very big concept. So, when we come to that part, I'll be explaining you what is deposits. Clear all of you? Okay, and the next ones are, seventh one, report made by inspector that a fraud has been taken by a director or a KMP or officer. Now what is this, sir? Okay, concentrate. In the case of the best example I can give you is, imagine there is a company called as Satyam. Heard of Satyam? In Satyam Computers in Hyderabad, there was a company called as Satyam Computers. In Satyam Computers, there was one director. The name of the director was called as Ramalinga Raju. He was a founder of Satyam as well. He did all possible fraud in Satyam Computers, and he did a scam of around 7,100 crores. That's the value of the scam. Yeah, and he did something and all. The company's P&L accounts and balance sheets were inflated. Meaning if they make 1 rupee, they were telling to the world we made 100 rupees. But is the money actually there in the company? The answer is no. But the people are seeing that the company is growing. More and more people invested money. End of the day, they lost a lot of money. And this person has made around 7,100 crores the scam's worth. He had invested a lot of property in Hyderabad. He had made cars. So there was an investigation that was ordered. The inspector, he found out that what are the illegal assets he made. The court passed one order. What is that order? That order is called as disgorgement order. What do you mean by disgorgement? Whatever is the illegal gains you guys have made, that illegal gains will be taken away from you. Whatever is the cash, whatever is the property, you would have taken benefit. No, that benefit will be taken away from you. That order passed by the court is called as disgorgement order. Disgorgement means the illegally made properties and cash will be taken away from you. And what will they make? What will they do out of that money? Whoever suffered the loss, it will be distributed to them. So if public had lost money, that money will be distributed to the public, and that order is called as disgorgement. Clear? So how much? Everything will be taken unlimitedly. As long as we recover everything, everything will be taken away. So in these cases, generally it is limited liability. In these cases, it will become unlimited liability. Is it similar to seize? No. Seize is where the court will take a temporary custody. Disgorgement is a permanent transfer. Clear? Yes, okay, let's go for a break.